Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of the Last Night's Game podcast. I'm your host, Amy Butchon-Siegfried, and we are talking all about what's happening in the world of sports, period, this week. So you are keyed up and tuned in for all kinds of sports conversation. And here to join me in that conversation is my favorite co-host and my favorite brother and founder, Scott. Scott, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on. We have so many different sports conversation starters for you this week. So many different sports conversations to be had with coworkers, friends, family. We can relate to almost anyone with what we're going to speak about today.
Well, let's kick it off and talk to me about if you want to fire up a sports fan this week, talk about
College football coaches getting paid millions not to work.
yeah, these buyouts have gotten a little out of control. I mean, I can't think of any other industry that has almost 20% of their top level leadership terminated on a yearly basis, but I feel like this year just seems to be a bit excessive. I mean, we've only been playing, what are we in week 7?
Yeah, we're just starting. We're just starting November almost, and we've had multiple high level programs. Penn State started number 2 this season, and they had a 3-4 week span where they lost some games, and they fired their coach James Franklin, who will be paid, like we spoke about, 48 million roughly to not
40,
ever
yeah.
to never coach at Penn State again. It's mind blowing. That's certainly a conversation started with literally anyone that can speak about unemployment or not
Right.
working or
Not getting
throwing
paid.
away money.
Not getting paid to go to work. So the most recent victim is Brian Kelly, who is the head coach for LSU.
Yes.
They had a little bit of a rough down spell as well, 3 to 4
hmm
games or so that they lost. His is $53 million buyout. We've
Yes.
had
I was going to say he signed a 10-year contract in 2022, I believe, and we're in 2025. So he's got over $50 million coming his way to never coach at LSU again.
I mean, the money
So
is staggering. I'm looking at this tweet that you sent me.
yes,
Billy Napier, Florida, 21.2 million. Mike Gundy
yes.
from OSU, 15 million. In all fairness, the PR around OSU, Oklahoma State right now is
hmm
great because their fans are knowing they're losing and they're all dressing like bananas and doing conga lines. So, Mike, sorry for your firing, but also they might have gotten $15 million in PR of just their fans dressing like bananas.
Yeah, Oklahoma State fans may have solved the depression that may come with a tough football season. Take your shirt off and spin around
Stand
your
around.
head and dress up like bananas.
Yep.
That's not going to offset any of these ridiculous buyouts, but it's going to make your fan base kind of bearable to get through the season. And like you said, we're not even halfway through barely, and we have these high level coaches just gone.
I mean, well, I was asking you earlier, and then I
hmm
did some research, but like, do they have insurance policies? Because $53 million, no one just has $53 million lying around, especially in the name, image, likeness era, the
Yeah.
NFL era, where they're like you're paying players. You don't have $53 million just sitting around.
Mm-mm.
So we kind of looked around, like some of them do have insurance, but most of them tend to just pay it out because it's not worth the premium to pay for it. Are people not giving them enough time? Are we like in this we don't have any patience phase where all of a sudden we're like, okay, you've lost 3 games, which, is not ideal. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't take you to
Yeah.
a national championship, but also like pump the brakes. This is $53 million. And clearly this guy was good when he came in.
hmm I think I'll make 2 points, if you will.
Mhm.
So point number one, I think the NIL era has put so much pressure on coaches that they feel that they pay all this money to a roster. This roster should be performing, and they just throw money at players to come in, and you don't know if they're great fits. So the NIL era has put so much pressure on coaches. That's why we've seen guys like Nick Saban, the best coach probably ever in college football, just walk away rather than deal with this, because you've got kids that are already planning on leaving. They know they're leaving and they don't care now. They know they're leaving after the season. They'll get more money somewhere else. They probably already have a deal in place to go somewhere else. So they've literally made it almost impossible to succeed as a coach at this point.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre.
Unless you're like a beloved coach, like Marcus Freeman or someone at Notre Dame, who
Yes,
people just absolutely love him. So they're willing to put up with a little bit. But Brian Kelly used to coach at Notre Dame. I
he
should
did,
note
and
that.
if you're not a nice person and you win, it's okay. But if you're not a nice person and you don't win, then it's not okay. Then
That's
people
that
stop caring.
yeah, that's kind of what I gathered. I didn't get the best impression every time I interacted with Brian Kelly. So no
Yes.
offense. We will move on from that.
Oh, wait, point number two.
Yes. Yeah, point
There's
number 2, sorry.
There's one coach, I think, that has broken everyone's brain in college football that is causing all these issues. And he is the Indiana Hoosiers coach, Curt Cignetti. He came from James Madison. He worked his way up. He came from James Madison 2 years ago to, with all due respect to Indiana, kind of a lower tier football program. And in a year and a half, he took them to the college football playoff last year in 1 year. And then this year they're ranked number 2 and just like blowing people out. So I think he has broken a lot of college football like programs' brains that he could come in and revive this dormant football program in 2 years. And he's got them like, we'll see how the season goes, but on the way to possibly like a national championship. So what he's done, these programs looking around like, we've had
Wait a
these
minute.
coaches. Yeah, that's all it takes is 2 years and you can completely change things. So NIL and Curt Cignetti.
Well, it's one of those things that goes back to chemistry is a huge piece.
Yes.
I think it probably has a bigger mix maybe in like a team, like a sport like baseball. I feel like really we talk a lot about chemistry, but like
Hmm.
just because football, you have so many guys on a team. But it's so interesting if like chemistry is there, if the coach is
Hmm.
the right kind of coach and he just
Yeah.
speaks the right language and it works for the kids. I think that's, I mean, they're kids when it really comes down to it, right?
Yeah.
And we always talk about my husband always says, like, why am I going to let my happiness rest on the laurels of what an 18-year-old does on a field? Like, so we're not the family that gets like all worked up over if our team loses because
Yeah.
you have to remember this isn't, I mean, we've all been 18 before. Like that, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yes. And if you're making millions as an 18-year-old,
I was
it's,
not.
I was not, no.
No, I
Unfortunately
was
not,
not.
no.
And hence why I'm here.
Yeah. Same.
So let's move on and talk a little bit about if you need a go to conversation starter with your baseball fans in your office, what is that?
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness. Okay.
I think we mentioned it maybe on the Monday Minute, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is actually the highest paid pitcher in MLB history, and he's gotten 2 complete back-to-back games, which is unheard of in this day and age, where no one pitches complete games just
A
because of,
complete game is he literally pitches, starts, and finishes it.
yes, no other pitchers involved, which is like in today's baseball is unheard of because of so many statistics and matchups. Managers are constantly bringing in new guys, but he not only pitched a complete game, but then went and cleaned up the dugout at the Blue Jay Stadium after the game to make sure that he left it better than he found it.
I mean, it's impressive that
Mhm.
you are making so much money. And it's a contest and a compliment to his humility and his
Yes,
sportsmanship that like that would make me so proud if that was my kid cleaning up the dugout
yes.
after it was done. Also, like shame on you all for making a mess. I mean, think about how that makes also as a teammate of his, like he has
Hmm.
enough pride to go in and clean all this up. I mean, it's really amazing to think about that. And that's been a story actually. I think like even a couple years ago in the Little League World Series, I feel like there was the
Yeah,
Japanese team came in and cleaned up the dugouts afterwards. And so like kudos to you, your parents for
yeah.
making
I
that
think
happen.
even like World Cup, I think the Japanese team always like cleans up and like went into the stands and cleaned up. So it's definitely the culture because he did come from Japan. He pitched over there for quite a while, so obviously they're doing something right.
Right. So we have the World Series now. We're recording this on Monday and it comes out Tuesday morning. So Tuesday
Yes.
morning to you all. So we don't know because game 3 is this evening, but currently it's tied going in with 1-1, best of 7. So game
Hmm.
3. You mentioned, so these teams are kind of, I mean, you're going from Toronto to LA, so it's quite a haul. There was something in the notes about Dave Roberts, who's the head coach for the Dodgers, complaining about travel issues.
Yes, yes, as you spoke about, it's a very long flight. We're going international, going from Toronto to LA, and there was only one travel day in between.
It's really tight. I was
Game two and
surprised.
game three was Sunday was the only day off, and I think they got in super late to LA due to some travel issues, and I think it had to do with like maybe customs or something on LAX side.
Air traffic controllers they
Yes.
didn't have enough air traffic controllers in LAX, so that might have also been it too.
Yes, so he was not thrilled about the travel arrangements, but it's baseball. Everyone has to travel. That's just what they do. Both teams had to travel, so also you've got like possibly one of the best rosters in baseball history, so I don't think it really matters too much.
Fly into Burbank. You can also fix that. Fly into
Yeah,
Burbank.
I don't know how many direct Toronto to Burbank flights you've got going.
I don't think they're flying
Probably
commercial.
not too many.
No.
No,
The Dodgers are probably not flying commercial, so
they are not. No.
it's really interesting. It's been cool to see, and tonight we have Max Scherzer taking the mound. Did you work with, because Max was a rookie when I worked in sports, and so we
Hmm.
worked with him, and super nice guy, very cool. He has two different colored eyes. Like, so if you're
Yes.
watching the game or post game interviews about this Tuesday, he has like one light color eye and like one brown eye. But like super nice
Yes.
guy. But he was a rookie when I worked in baseball. So imagine he came through with you too.
Yeah, he pitched quite a bit in spring training. I think I told the story. I used to go behind home plate and watch him pitch just because of how impressive his delivery was and his like he throws the ball so fast and it moves. It's impossible to hit this guy. And now what are we 20 years later almost?
Yeah, I mean,
And
probably right. Maybe, yeah, close.
he's gonna, I think, what, tie the record. This is his fourth team he's been on to make the World Series. So that's, I mean, as a pitcher, that's pretty ridiculous.
Hmm.
And I was just watching a video. I know you said he's a nice guy, but we spoke about this previously. Some pitchers on game day, like they just go into a whole nother mode and
You
like
don't talk
shut
to
their
them.
brains off. And there's a really funny interview. Maybe I'll share it with you. You can put in the story about his teammates. Once he puts his headphones on game day, you can't talk to him. And if you did not know that, and you can look up videos like teammates, even coaches, like smack him on the butt, like after while he's pitching, and he gives him like a death stare. So nice guy when he's not pitching, but don't talk to him or touch him when he does pitch, and you'll be fine.
I mean, I think as long as you know the boundaries, the
Yes.
expectations are set of
Yeah.
don't touch me.
Yeah. He's laid out there. There's plenty of video evidence. So
I would like to set this expectation at my home. Like if you wake me up before 6 a.m.,
yes,
please don't touch me. Like this morning where I got elbowed right in the ribs at 5:55.
there you go.
Was not
Just
not thrilled about that.
the Max Scherzer mom rules.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make this a rule that with a tiny human in them say, watch this game. This man
Yes,
has boundaries.
he does.
Respecting
With
his
his
teammates,
teammates,
respect
coaches,
his
yes,
boundaries.
everything.
And he can be a champion because he has boundaries.
He does, yes.
Now, I want to wrap us up with, if you don't have a team to cheer for this week, who should you be cheering for?
Indianapolis Colts.
Okay, besides Daniel Jones being on my fantasy football quarterback, tell me why.
Well, I mean, that's probably the only reason you really need to know is that Daniel Jones is here. They were like, there's like the ultimate underdog story, surprise team. One of the most surprising teams, maybe in recent NFL history. No one picked them to be good. Like you spoke about, Daniel Jones was kind of cast off from the Giants. No one thought he was very good. He had to spend some time in with other teams to get like his mojo back, and they signed him to the Colts this year. No one expected really anything from him, and they're the best team in the AFC right now. And he's just everyone's kind of stunned, honestly. Like it doesn't make much sense.
Well, you've seen a lot of teams. So, I mean, we all love an underdog in America.
Yeah.
That's just an understatement. But also, you see a lot of teams that have had, I feel like there's been a lot of injuries, and I feel like that was the
Hmm.
case last year too.
Yeah.
Does that have anything about like maybe why they're better, or is it just they have, once again, good team chemistry, and that seems to be the common thread through the success in all of this right now?
I think they've been pretty dominant, so I don't know that it's necessarily an injury thing, although other teams in the AFC have suffered a lot of injuries, like the Ravens and the Chiefs and quite a few other teams, but they've pretty much dominated everyone they've played. Running back Jonathan Taylor, who's had a few rough years in Indy when they weren't very good, has like gone back to this MVP form that he was a few seasons ago. And he's the first in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games against the same team this past weekend. So
Three
he's
touchdowns and three touchdowns in each of 3 games.
against the same team. So he's really come back into form. And then maybe it's in honor of their owner Jim Irsay that passed away in the
Right.
offseason. So
It's
yeah.
the Colts it's Irsay's daughter, right, who's on the sideline.
Yeah.
So to talk to that comes up a lot on my Instagram feed, but that's probably
Yes.
because I'm a sports person.
Yeah.
But give people a little bit of a background of this, and I'll Mrs. Irsay.
Yes. Well, Jim Irsay, longtime owner, kind of a wild guy, as we know, if you look at his history, but he did pass away. I think it was in the off season.
Mhm.
And his daughter has always been involved in the organization, and you'll see her, unlike other owners who have no idea what's going on nor really don't care, she's on the sidelines with an earpiece listening to all the calls from all the coordinators, like writing down the plays, just to kind of have an idea of like who is actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and
Mhm.
making sure the coaches are actually like holding them accountable. So it's kind of cool. You'll see, like you said, a lot of videos on the internet with her with the earpiece. So that's what she's listening to.
Yeah, so her Carlie Irsay-Gordon, and you'll
Yes.
see her, yeah, she has her clipboard, she's always dressed lovely, she's got her earpiece in, but I really like what she said. She's like, "I need to understand if it
Hmm.
wasn't Scott's job wasn't to catch that ball. That was somebody called the wrong play and he just happened to be in the right place at the wrong time type of thing." Like, I
Yeah.
really appreciate that she, like, is holding everybody accountable,
Hmm.
which I think is really cool, and obviously it's made headlines because she's a woman,
Yes.
and people are just shocked that women know what happens in football, and so I think it's really interesting. I did see this week, yesterday, one of her players, and I've gotta find it, dressed like her in this arrival, like, had on, like, her striped shirt, like a striped shirt like her and a necklace like her, and, like, dressed in honor of her basically as an ode to her in the tunnel arrival.
Very smart. Sounds like he's trying to get brownie points.
I mean, I would take
Yes.
it. So, maybe it's his pre-Halloween costume.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so it's been really interesting. I mean, it's I don't wanna dive too much into the world of, like, the football and get too nitty-gritty, but
Hmm.
you have teams like the Cowboys who are struggling and probably because they got rid of Micah Parsons and their defense sucks right now.
Yes.
But besides that, you've got a Jerry Jones who's involved in everything and he kind of meddles. I'll use that as the nicest way I can describe it.
Yes.
In everything, right? He's the GM, he's the
Hmm.
owner, where it's like she's just plugging in trying to figure it out. And you don't see Jerry on the sidelines trying to figure out who's calling what play and whose fault it is and,
No,
all
he
those
does
things.
that during the week. He puts his he gets his input during the week.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's just really interesting. And I mean, look at that full circle. They're having great success. So
Yes. A
kudos to
woman in
her.
charge, perhaps. That's maybe something to do with it. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah.
Randomly, I also saw you're a Steelers fan. I literally just saw this on the Today
Hmm.
Show this morning. Kiya Tomlin, Mike Tomlin's wife, head coach. He's the head coach of the Steelers.
Yes.
She's a fashion designer, and I did not realize this. You have been to Pittsburgh
I
recently,
have.
and
Yes.
so I don't know if you've noticed this, but she's a design like a well-known designer. Realized that women had no NFL gear to wear. It was either pink
Yes.
or it was just small, shrink it and pink it, right?
Yeah.
And so she basically now has an agreement with all NFL with the NFL to make appropriate cute attire in her style for NFL teams, which I thought was really interesting.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's always been a complaint that there's really nothing great for women. So shout out to Mrs. Tomlin. Maybe probably some cold weather gear, I would assume, based on weather in
Some of it's a
Pittsburgh.
little off
So
the shoulder, it's cute, but, like, yeah,
yes,
Tomlin, so if you are a fan of an NFL team, check her out, you might
there
find
you go.
yourself something attractive to wear that's not just a jersey or a t-shirt.
Perfect. Look
Fun
at you.
facts about the NFL.
Fun fact of the day.
Sometimes you pay attention to you when you start paying attention to sports, you start to find it in the weirdest places too.
Yes.
Anything to leave us with as we wrap up here with the last 2 minutes or so?
We have a little bit MLS soccer going on as well.
Mhm.
Soccer playoffs are going on, mixed in with every other playoff and football and hockey and basketball. So we'll give soccer a little shout out. And I think we saw Messi just signed a new contract extension. I'm sure he's probably going to own the league here soon, based
Probably
on
so.
on his agreements with money. And I think they won their first game, and I believe he scored his first playoff goal,
It's cool. Well,
possibly. So
and it's very much so if you're not familiar with Lionel Messi, he plays an Argentinian player, played obviously overseas, came back to the US, plays for Inter Miami, the pink jerseys, which is David Beckham's team. And Victoria Beckham's been in the news a lot lately because she has a new documentary out on, I believe, Netflix. It was good. I watched it. I enjoyed it. But it's really interesting to see how, he's still been this mainstay. But they really couldn't afford to pay him what he was worth. So he has a lot of I think he has a percentage of the ownership of the team. He's got a big couple of big endorsement deals that pay him very well that I'm assuming the ownership in Beckham and MLS probably worked together to put these together. I know Apple,
yes,
he has a big one with Apple. And so it's really interesting to see that he's here. He's happy in Miami. And that they're winning. I mean, I don't think Miami's ever won a championship, have they?
not in soccer.
Not
No.
in soccer. Yeah, I'm sorry, not in soccer. It's cool to see. So if you have friends who are soccer fans,
There
something
you
to tune
go.
into.
Look at that.
Another pop culture perspective on the pink uniforms and
Hmm.
something cool to reference with Messi. Stay tuned because that sideline tends to start to look a little bit, in the front row of the stand starts to look a little bit like a celebrity
Yes.
who's who as well. So, well, thanks for sharing that with us. Of course, keep up with us at lastnightsgame.com or on social for all the conversation starters between podcast and Scott. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.